Hello again, dear viewers, and welcome to another video. I hope you're well. So this is Stark Parallels Part 5. So the documentary about Jones continued, where he modelled his People Temples cult on the Pentecostal Church, where he had the power and control over the lives of the congregation, just like the governing body who micromanages the lives of Jehovah's Witnesses worldwide today. Then the documentary covered the period of 1965 to 1974, where Jones moved his church from Indianapolis because of the racism. America is a very racist country. One of the reasons why, along with Britain, they are the two trump cards of Satan the devil. So Jones moved from Indianapolis to Ukiah in California, to the beautiful Redwood Valley, where there were grapevines everywhere. So similarly, the World HQ of Jehovah's Witnesses is in a beautiful location at Warwick, USA. But don't let that fool you into thinking that because the governing body are living in a beautiful place, that they must be upright and beyond reproach. Remember how Sodom was described at Genesis 13 verse 10 as a well-watered region, like the garden of Jehovah, like the land of Egypt? That's how the whole district of the Jordan was described. However, the men of Sodom were bad and were gross sinners against Jehovah, just like the governing body. Now, Jones would quote the Bible, exploiting Jesus' words for his own ends, when he said about Jesus telling his disciples to sell all things to feed the hungry, to have all things in common, to clothe the naked, to take in the stranger, and minister to widows. He was setting his followers up by firstly telling them to tithe 20% of what they earned. Incidentally, the Mosaic law tithing was 10%, was not excessive, and nor should it be overlooked that Jehovah promised to prosper the Israelites by opening up the floodgates of the heavens if his tithing laws were obeyed. Now, at no time were first century Christians commanded to pay tithes. The primary purpose of the tithing arrangement under the law had been to support Israel's temple and priesthood, and consequently the obligation to pay tithes would cease when the Mosaic law covenant came to an end, as fulfilled through Jesus' ransom sacrifice. So Jones requesting double 20%, something that was obsolete, and shortly afterwards he told his followers to sell their homes and give it all to the church, namely him. So similarly, the evil governing body twist and manipulate the scriptures for their own ends, i.e. the two-witness rule at Deuteronomy 19:15, to protect child abusers. They happily use Matthew 24 verses 45 to 47 till the cows come home about the faithful slave, but they leave out all the other scriptures which talk about the evil slave. New Light's another one. Happily use Proverbs 4:18, but they won't use the scriptures at verses 16, 17 and 19, which are sandwiched around it, which gets it into its proper context. Jones loved money, and so do the governing body. They are donation crazy. Stephen Lett was soliciting for funds in the May 2015 JW broadcast. Not so many years ago, when I was in the congregation, I distinctly remember at a midweek meeting for all the congregations worldwide, every baptized person was given a piece of paper and asked to write down how much they could donate every month. One of the main traits of a cult is the love of money. Jim Jones loved it, and so do the Wicked Watchtower Wizards of Warwick. The documentary then went on to relate how Jones procured Greyhound buses, remember that? To go on summer preaching tours spreading Jones's beliefs. The main objective was to get more members so that there was more money coming in for him. Similarly, pioneering is greatly encouraged by the governing body. Pioneering, the doing of so many hours in the ministry every month, is totally unscriptural. Jesus' disciples, the Apostle Paul and the other first century Christians, well, they never were chasing after hours. So the main reason for the governing body encouraging pioneering is to get more converts into their cult, to get more money in, exactly the same as Jones. It's so heavily promoted that a friend related to me that he repeatedly asked elders for help as he was struggling badly emotionally, only to be told, "Sorry, we can't help you as we have to prioritize the ministry." They're just like the Pharisees, as Jesus said at Matthew 23, verse 15. Let's read that together, please. That's Matthew 23 and verse 15. So this is Jesus exposing the Pharisees, and he said, "Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, because you traverse sea and dry land to make one proselyte, and when he becomes one, you make him a subject for Gehenna twice as much so as yourselves." Outrageous. The documentary continued where Jones greatly increased the workload for his members. If you're full-time temple, you were working 20 hours a day, giving their life savings and turning over their paychecks every week to him. And Jones gave them $5 a week allowance. The song they used to sing about Jones was, "Surely, surely, he's able, he's able to carry you through." I wonder if they used to sing that song to help keep them awake, as one lady related that she worked 6 days straight without a coffee, no nothing. Former temple member Hugh Forston Jr. related that being in such an environment where you were constantly busy, you were made to feel guilty if you took too many luxuries such as sleeping. He went on to say that you tend not to think for yourself, and that he, along with the rest, allowed Jones to think for him because he felt Jones had the better plan. He said, "I gave my rights up to him, as many others did." When a Jehovah's Witness enters Bethel service, that's working full-time at one of the branch offices around the world or at world headquarters at Warwick, USA, each Bethelite has to sign a vow of obedience and poverty form. The governing body refer to themselves as the Order, capital O. There's 10 points that Bethelites have to adhere to, i.e. point 6 says, to turn over to the local organisation of the Order all income received from any work or personal efforts in excess of my necessary living expenses, unless released from this vow by the Order. Point 8 says, to be content and satisfied with the modest support that I receive as long as I am privileged to serve in the order. Should I choose to leave the order, or should it be determined that I no longer qualify to serve in the order, I will not expect any remuneration. So the scriptures that they manipulate are Matthew 6:30 to 33, 1 Timothy 6:6 to 8, and Hebrews 13 verse 5. Now, when the average person thinks about a cult, what usually comes to their mind? Usually a super religious group who live and work in compound, living a strict lifestyle and conforming to a long list of weird rules. That is exactly what Bethel is. Not all members of cults live on a compound, usually only the inner core. Scientology has Sea Org. The Branch Davidians, that's David Koresh, he had Mount Carmel. The People's Temple had Jonestown. Jehovah's Witnesses have Bethels. Bethelites live in a Bethel compound, take a vow of poverty, getting a small allowance for incidentals. They work on the compound 6 days a week. They have to get up early, change into dress clothes, gather for a communal meal and listen to morning worship. Then they slave away. They have very little free time. They have to strictly obey a rule book called Dwelling Together in Unity. Any infraction can get them in trouble with a Bethel elder. The rank and file are presented a picture of Bethel as a spiritual paradise, which is totally unscriptural. The closest the governing bodies say one can get to the new system on this side of Armageddon. Bethelites present this picture and usually seem all smiles, but in truth, it's a facade. It's a hard knock life. And if they break a rule, get sick, or simply get assigned back to the field, they can find themselves out on the street. Thousands have been dismissed after years of service with no real world experience because they've been in the Bethel bubble. They have been left to flounder with the equivalent of a go in peace, keep warm and well fed, as it says in James 2 verse 16. Can you see the parallels between Jones and the governing body here? I'll sign off now and leave you to think about that. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon, hopefully, for more stark parallels. All the very best. Bye.